Hello everybody, Lord Magic is here. We're here to play more Modern Merfolk in Modern. If you are watching my replay, do me a favor, click the thumbs up on the video, alright? I don't ask a lot, but I'm going to ask this of you, and I will really appreciate it. And if you leave nice comments in the video, I promise I will read them. And if you ask questions or things, I always answer them, alright? I care about the comments, I care about the people. I do this as a labor of love, so I hope that you love it. And if you don't love it, tell me. I want to know. And if tell me either way. So yeah. All right, let's get to this. Here we go. We got to get our deck here. People trickle in. Oops. So I think it's abundantly clear at this point. Nadu is going to get banned in Modern. It's just a matter of when. Same thing with Grief and Legacy. Like it's pretty sad that we've gotten to a point where there's now going to be like 2 emergency bans. Like that, we need them, like, realistically, because Modern season for RCQs is about to start, and like, why would you want to ruin like half of the RCQs or whatever, or like a full month of them just because of it? It's insane. They really should, like, they should have done it yesterday, but like, you know, yesterday would have been the best time. Tomorrow's like the new best time. So you do what you can. Realistically, the earliest we could expect it would probably be next Monday. But it's I have a feeling they're trying at their absolute best to just not emergency ban things. So I don't know, but on it, like, both Legacy and Modern like need attention badly. The statistics bear this out in an overwhelming fashion in a way that, like, it's undeniable. Not like even Wizards of the Coast trying to hide the data at this point, like, isn't going to do anything because everybody can. There's too much. Like, everybody knows. So I don't know. It's I don't know what they gain by not taking any action. So we'll see. What's up, Monster CC? Yeah, no, like they really should ban, like, Nadu needs to be banned, like Grief needs to be banned in Legacy, and honestly probably in Modern as well, because like Scam is still like very powerful, especially with Necro Dominance. So yeah, it's Valeroth, hello, it has been a while. Yeah, but and the other thing that probably isn't an emergency thing, but probably needs to be done too. Vexing Bauble should be restricted in Vintage, because for the same reason of Chalice of the Void, like, you don't want people going like, turn 1 I play like 5 Moxes, and then play this, and now you can't play any Moxes for the whole game. Like, that defeats the entire point of Vintage. So yeah, Scam is absurd. It is fucking ridiculous. Like, you get scammed and they land Necro Dominance, and then the game's over. There's no way to recover from that. Yeah, Ephemerate Solitude or like Necro Shield. Yeah, either way, like, it's just insane. Absolutely ridiculous. So, alright. Man, oh, here we go. We're getting our deck from Mana Traders. I use Mana Traders, and if honestly you're interested in playing MTGO, this is a great way to go about doing it. So yeah, if you are interested in playing Magic and you don't necessarily want to commit to a single deck, Mana Traders is a good way to do it. We've used it to play other decks. Like, we've played like Burn and Tron, and I think even Infect once. So see, we're getting our fancy Tidebinders today. And I mean, if you win enough treasure chests, Mana Traders just pays for itself anyway. So I've had it for a long time now. Like, the longer you have it, the cheaper it gets every month. So yeah, it's fine. All right, we delete this one so that way we can re-add the deck. There we go. You need to check your bulk rare box of the pitch. But I looked through mine. I was sure that I had the Soul Spike, and I just could not find a single copy of it. You know, I think I even looked through my foreign stuff because I thought there was a chance, but I think I found like a Sickening Shoal, but I didn't find like Soul Spike, so that's unfortunate. Still yet to face Nadu uh, versus Flage twice and beat them both. All right, yeah, yeah. Well, so yeah, the Flage decks are really tough. Like that card is a beating, and like you probably should have subtlety to fight that thing. Yeah, no, it's Boros energy plays that card as like a really powerful finisher. But I mean, it's a helix up front, and it's a finisher when you need it late in the game. Like even Jeskai controls like playing this card now. The thing is like online, Nadu is kind of underrepresented because it's a pain in the ass to play when you're on MTGO. You have to click like a million things. It can take like 10 minutes off your clock just to go through the combo. It's actually ridiculous. Like so the thing you can get timed out a lot on MTGO doing it. It's the same thing with like Second Sunrise. Like honestly, forgetting like power level reasons alone, like it is bannable on like how powerful and how much it wins, but like that's probably not even the reason it's going to get banned. The reason it's going to get banned is because it adds like 10 to 15 minutes to the end of like literally every round at like a GP or whatever. Because you are incentivized to wait until the last possible turn to then try to go off with the deck. And your combo turn will take like 10 minutes. So, because you literally go through the entire deck and you have to do the triggers. Like, it's not a deterministic thing. Like, it is possible for it to fizzle, so you have to go through it and progress the board that way until you get to a point where your library is empty, and then you end up like looping a bunch of nonsense. It's totally ridiculous, and like the fact that the decks don't even want to play Thassa's Oracle in order to speed up the win is like the biggest sign that the deck is a fucking problem and it just needs to go. It's not fun to play against. Like the play pattern's miserable. It makes the tournaments take too long, and the deck is just winning way too much. And there's not really a good way to counter it. Like it went to the Pro Tour, and the best players in the world could not find a way to beat it, so they were just playing it themselves to a ridiculous degree and winning with it. It was like that. It was in the entire of the top four, and I want to say like put another one or two copies in the top eight aside from that. So yeah, it's absolutely absurd. It's like one of the most winning decks in the history of Modern. Like right up there, like I think possibly even surpassing Hogak and like rivaling Eldrazi. So, yeah, there's no excuse that this card shouldn't have been banned yesterday. And like Rescaminator with like Reanimate and Grief and Legacy is something like 20 to 25% of the metagame right now. It's like fucking absurd. They're playing the Psychic Frog now, and it's just great, fantastic. So. Yeah, no, there is definitely going to be a ban. Like the question is, why hasn't it happened yet? Like, and Legacy, like Wizards' own Legacy experts told them you need to ban Grief, and then they didn't do it, and now look, like it's just completely out of control. So they are doing like crack or something. It's absurd. I don't really have much to say about this deck list. This is the same list that we played last week. It's still really strong, I think. So we're just gonna run it back and just see how we do this week. I mean, I think we've gone like 4-1, 3-2, 4-1 with this like the last few weeks, so should be doing really well with this, yeah. Alright, let's go. Let's get this going. I don't want to drag this out too long. And you know what I should do? I should put the link here so that you can find the replay and everything. Do my own promotion, right? Because nobody else is going to do it. Yeah, you can find all my stuff here at my link tree, which is I've posted in the chat here. And I have a link to the YouTube channel and all my social media nonsense, and even the Merfolk Discord. So yeah, you can find me there too. I am in fact one of the admins of the Merfolk Discord, so you'll find me there all the time. If you ever have questions you want to ask me, I'm there most of the day, so I'll see them. But I mean, there's also the wonderful Merfolk Primer that Merfolk Joe and a bunch of other people really put a time into. Like Pixel Tamer does a lot with the legacy side of it too, so absolutely fantastic. This is a really kind of weak hand. Like, we have one creature here. Like, we're basically hoping to just, best case, pitch Flare of Denial to Force of Negation. Like, this does nothing. I have to have more gas. All right, this is way better. We can definitely keep this. We can just bottom, I think, Otawara, right? Probably. All right, keep this. Did MTGO mess up my camera frame again? Of course it did. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, no. You know why? It's because I have to put the chat back on. There we go. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, I think. I got the regular ones. Okay, yeah, we just do it like this. So we also have Sink into Stupor. We could play it as a land if we need to, but we're hoping we don't have to. I mean, this is definitely a lot better than what we started with, so. Oh, fuck. Are we up against Boros? This could be Ruby Storm, actually, so... This isn't really much better for us if this is... Yeah, this is Ruby Storm, alright. Well, we don't really have the hand for this. We need to draw, like, Force or Flare here. That's not really gonna do it. We'll play Dockhand. Hope that... We're probably going to have to hold up this Dismember in case they play like Ral and just try to slow them down that way. Okay. You know what? That's actually fine for us because we can slow them down this way. Alright, so what are my options? I think that I need to Dismember this thing, and I think I also need to Dockhand this land. I think Sink into Stupor is good. Probably not when you draw all three, but like it's still fine, so really want to take the damage for this, but I probably have to. It is if I'm trying to think here. I think I'm just playing the Cavern of Souls right now. Let's just kill this thing. We'll tap this down, because attacking for one is not going to really do anything. We don't have any backup here, so we gotta try to keep them as slow as possible. And doing this while they're tapped out is also important because, okay, well they obviously, if they had a Ruby or a Ral, they would have played it here, so that's a good sign. No. So obviously mana's not really the thing that they're worried about at the moment. Alright, so we'll... Attacking for 2 damage, I think, is enough to matter here. Bought 1 flare. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. I don't know how much further they're going to fall at this point. Like, I think most of these cards are probably, like... They're opened enough where they're probably going to stabilize at whatever price they're at the moment, but... I get it. Well, they kept a card on top. That's not a good sign. Reckless Impulse. Okay. There's Ral and there's Wish. So, here's the thing. They're going to play Ral, and I honestly probably need to, like, sink this thing. Yeah, so I think what I do is I attack for 4 here. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I attack for 4. If they play Ral, it basically eats their entire turn. If they, like, play it, I bounce it back to their hand, and then they play it again. Like, they can't really do anything. I mean, they could have a ritual, but they'd have to use it before they play it, so, like, I'm not sure that it would really help them that much. And then, I don't know, hopefully we can... I mean, maybe next turn we'll draw, like, Harbinger, and then we can just play that, and, yeah, they're a little bit, Yeah, they won't get to keep the wish. Well, they're really confident this is going to work. I mean, they could use a ritual and then play it and go off like that. I mean, if they do, so be it. There's nothing I can really do about that. Okay. They lost the flip. Okay, they have 3 mana here. Sure. They won the flip. I think they're going to flip it. Yeah, they have... I don't know if they're going to flip it yet, actually. They don't have... They need to cast 6 spells with this thing in order to get it to do the thing. So, they might. Okay. They're just choosing to do this. I think they have enough to grape shot me for a fair bit, right? Do they have? Oh, they can get the Past in Flames. Yeah, I think it's deterministic from this point. I think we beat them having 1 ritual, but we didn't beat them having 2. Actually, I don't know. What are they going to do here with this wish? Galvanic Relay? That's okay. Sure. They're just gonna... Okay, I mean, we're not dead yet. That's a plus. They're just gonna try to storm off next turn. So the thing is, if we draw like Harbinger, we actually like probably just kill them. Or it's close. No, that's still pretty good though. I put them to 1, right? So, and I can counter all of their stuff. What did they get? They got Past in Flames. They have Manamorphose. I could just attack them for 1 or for 8 and put them to 1. It did, but they might have been able to go off a turn faster if I hadn't done that. So that's the problem. All right. We gotta actually like do the math here. So they do have Wish, but we might be able to tax them out of using it. I mean, so I think I have to play the Hexcatcher here. I'm pretty sure I have to play Sync and play Lord and Hexcatcher, attack them for 8, throw away 3 creatures to try to tax them, and then use Hexcatcher to beat them. Well, they can also minus Ral to kill off my creature, though. But I guess if they minus it, they can't plus it to make their stuff cheaper, so... Alright. This is just what we have to do. I don't think we're guaranteed dead here, but it's not looking great. The thing is, we have to make sure Past in Flames doesn't resolve. Like, that's the big one. Alright, so they plus Ral here, so we'll see. I don't know if we can do it. They play the mountain. Alright. So Manamorphose. I don't think countering this, I can't do anything with that. I think if they just play Past in Flames now, we're just dead. Yeah, like we tried. Strike it rich. It makes that treasure token. Sure. I can't, again, that's just a free spell. I can't do anything about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ren's Resolve. Once the Rifts resolve. I mean, I need Ren's Resolve to miss. So they found Manamorphose. That's really bad. I needed them not to find a ritual here if we wanted to have, like, any chance of this actually working out. Okay, well, they're going to play another Ren's Resolve. Okay, that's fine. Strike it rich is not actually a ritual here. It just, it costs 1 and makes 1. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They need 3 to play. They need 3 to play this thing. So I could actually counter the fucking Past in Flames. We might actually be okay here. I think that maybe they got a little bit greedy, and maybe they were supposed to cast this Past in Flames earlier, because if they don't have a ritual to cast here, like, they might not actually have it. The Hexcatcher may actually be able to tax them out, depending upon how they play this. I only need 1 creature to get across here, so if I can just keep Hexcatcher alive, like, that'll be enough. I guess it could also depend upon whether they have, like, a Ral or something to play, but it is super dangerous for them to play a Ral, because then if they play any spell, then they can actually, like, die. Okay. So Wish here. I think I am supposed to try to counter this. Because I need them to not get, like, Grape Shot, right? Because if they have to use both of the treasures here, then they're not going to have the mana to actually, like, win. They sacrifice the treasure to pay for it. So, like, if they pay for this, it doesn't matter what they get with the Wish. They've already played a land for the turn, so they're going to be... They have no mana to cast anything. Okay, so what do you do with the last treasure token here? So you can't cast the Past in Flames here. You have to have, like, a ritual. Even if they cast a ritual here, I would just, like, sack the Hexcatcher and just hope that they can't go off here. So, yeah, we win the game. Just... The Hexcatcher was just barely enough. Alright, awesome. Alright, lads, we got there. Alright, sideboarding time. You believed. That's right. See, you believed hard enough and we did it. Alright, I think we want Merfolk Trickster. We want Tishana's Tidebinder. We want Dismember. This is not a Svyelun match. This is not really a Harbinger of the Seas match either. I mean, it can hurt them, but it doesn't by no means is it guaranteed that Harbinger's actually going to, like, get them, so... I think, yeah, just keeping the curve lower and just interacting with them is better. That was game one, yes. We got game one, so that's the hard one. So now we have better interaction here. This hand looks okay. I mean, I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I think we have to keep this. I'm not excited to have, like, only 2 creatures, but yeah. If I have to pitch a Lord to a Force, I have to do it, so... Sure, Reckless Impulse. They find a static prison. Alright, neat. Let's see. I could play this Lord of Atlantis right now, and they could burn the static prison on it, but I don't really think that's... I don't know, like... They can't play this at all, right? This is only until the end of their next turn, and if I don't... I guess the thing is, if I flash in a Hexcatcher on the end step, they can't actually cast it, so... That's probably the way to go. Just flash in Hexcatcher so they can't, like, eat my board. And this also might encourage them to tap out for something where a Hexcatcher can just get it. Sure. You find 2 lands? Flare of Denial is pretty good here. Let's see. Do I play another Hexcatcher or do I play the Lord here? I think I play the Lord right now because next turn I'll probably, like... I might consider keeping Hexcatcher up so I can hard cast the mana. I guess I could also just attack for 1 and then play it at the end of turn. Like, in case I need to hard cast one of these things, so... Yeah, that seems like that's possibly a better way to go. Like... Yeah, I like this plan better. The extra 1 damage is probably not worth it, whereas I can just keep the extra cards here. Where actually, if anything, I probably want to hardcast the Force. Yeah, I could go land double Lord and still have Flare up. I don't think I really care about this, right? I'm just going to play another Hexcatcher anyway. Like, this is kind of pointless. Yep. That's pretty good. That's a very easy card to pitch here. I think we are at the point where we're just playing 2 Lords, though. Yeah, so I have Trickster to pitch to Force, and then I can always flare something if need be. If they, like, try to upkeep Silence me, then I do have to Force that, I think. And they're, like, surprisingly close to dead, too. Like, they gotta do something very quickly or they're gonna die. That fetch is, like... Yeah, I don't know if you want to be fetching right now. Pyretic Ritual, okay. I guess they're just trying to get out of Hexcatcher range. The thing is, I'm 1,000% like forcing a Past in Flame, so okay. If the thing is, they want to play the rituals first and then Past in Flames, so that they can give them flashback. But I'm just gonna force the Past in Flames so they never get the opportunity to like use it, and then they're basically just dead. So. I guess if they like, I guess if they cast Wish, I probably have to counter that because the Wish could like clear my board or put like a bajillion Empty the Warrens blockers in play, right? So Shatter Skull Smashing. What the fuck is this? They're dealing 3 damage to this thing. I think that I'm supposed to actually force this. They only have 2 cards left in hand, right? So you want to let them kill my... The thing is, if I keep the Hexcatcher in play, like, that's 11 damage. That means a top deck Lord actually does kill them. They have 3 mana left with 2 cards, like... I'm forcing this. Like, I feel like I'm winning the game, like, if I force this thing. Because then, even if they play another spell, like, I have Hexcatcher here to just deal with it, so... Like, what can they possibly, like, do right now that I'm gonna lose to? Galvanic Relay, okay. Sure, they have a relay for next turn, but, like, they might not live to next turn for it to matter. Well, they found Past in Flames, alright. And Ruby Medallion. I mean, I think if I just find a Lord, they're dead, so... That's not a Lord, but I can still cast it and hold up Flare. It's just another thing to throw in front of the Hexcatcher. Again, I only need to keep 1 creature in play and they die, so... Also, the Static Prison is about to die, so we get this one back, too. Well, we'll get this back next turn, right? So... They don't have any more energy left. Alright, what do we have here? I'm pretty sure if I just flare this, I'm positive that I just win this game. Because I don't think that there's any way that they can get through here with just 3 mana. Like, any spell they play at this point, I can just counter it with Hexcatcher. Playing Ral is basically a death sentence if they do that, so... I mean, I just counter this, right? Like... This is not going to do anything. We win the match. There we go. Easy peasy. Why do you want to play Merfolk? Because it's really good against, like, Ruby Storm, and it's supposedly decent against Nadu, or at least probably one of the decks with the least bad Nadu matchups. Alright. Awesome. This hand's not awesome, though. This hand sucks. This is better. We can keep this. I think we get rid of Flare here. Because there's no guarantee we're going to have a creature in play in turn 2. I mean, yeah, this is a really fun deck to play. Okay, so we're up against Flooded Strand, so could be Jeskai maybe. Could be Nadu, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff this could be. Could be like the Esper Reanimator deck. We have a very strong mana denial plan now. It's not quite a combo, but it is really powerful, and it is like an unfair way to win the game. Beautiful. I guess I'm just playing Lord of Atlantis right now. Because I don't really want to hold up the Hexcatcher when they have like counterspell mana up, so... Yeah. I mean, it's a... If they have Spell Snare, there's like no way to really get around it. Okay, Thundering Fall, so maybe this is... Maybe this is Murktide? So playing around Counterspell makes more sense than playing around Spell Snare, I think. Though it was definitely possible that they could have had, like, Unholy Heat or something, but what are you going to do? You see, like, here this might be Counterspell. If you find a land, I'm probably just holding up Force of Negation, to be honest. Alright, that's pretty good. I feel like... Alright, we'll attack. I think I will hold back the Hexcatcher, though, until they tap out. If they crack the Flooded Strand, I'll flash it in then. Yeah, and otherwise, there's no reason to do this right now. Okay, here we can do this. What are we going to do for 2 here? Oh, Frantic Inventory? Sure. Good. You draw your card, opponent. Abso-fucking-lutely. Have a ball. Alright. I think that I'm ticking Vial up to 3 to get Svyelun out, too. Because, like, if I slam this Svyelun, chances are I'm probably just going to win the game. But I may not put it in play if I don't draw the land or a blue card. If I draw like an Aether Vial, I might not put it in play. They're at 12 right now. If I just force this, like, if I force this, they go to 1, like, they're basically lost, aren't they? I mean, I could just let this go back to my hand. It's not really a big deal. I can just replay the damn thing, so... Okay, sure. That's not... I'm not really that concerned by this. Gives me another blue card here. Probably taking the Vial up for the Svyelun matters more here. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, I don't know that I want to play Master here. I'm probably just holding up Force. Like, this is still very winning. Like, I guess if they have Verdict, like, we lose Svyelun. Or no, we lose everything else. Okay, they just die. Okay. Sure. Force. Deal. We win. Alright, yeah. Easy peasy. They had nothing, so this is fine. This is usually a pretty good match, I think. So what do we want? We want Tidebinder because that deals with like the One Ring and also the Flage. Subtlety is also good here. Dismember is not so good. And Dockhand is also not terribly good. So I think we just do it like that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can just run it like this. Eight free spells in the main deck, 4 Flare and 4 Force. That might be pushing it a little bit too hard, to be honest. This is actually probably a keepable hand. We can just play... What, we play Sink in the Stupor on turn 1 as a land, and if we get Harbinger of the Seas out, like, that is very winning for us. I think I'm keeping this. I have the Hexcatcher to play in turn 2, so there is some... It's not like I'm passing the turn. Like, I can always flash it in with the Cavern, so... Like, Cavern... I'm not worried about a counterspell. Oh, that's great, too. I think I am definitely going to want this in play, though, and I don't want to pay the life, so we'll just play it tapped now. We'll play Cavern of Souls next turn, and then, yeah, Island after that. Okay, cool. Is this the Bant one? Forest Plains Island, okay. Honestly, I might not even play the Harbinger right away. I mean, if they tap out, then I will, but I mean, I may not otherwise. I could just, like, flash it in the Tidebinders. Sure, you can have that. Fuck! What are you gonna do with 3 mana here? Just play Flash, please. For the love of God, just do it. You won't. Teferi Time Raveler. I think I'm just Hexcatchering this thing. Alright, and now we are going to see if Harbinger of the Seas just wins us the game here. I guess I could have used Subtlety in this. Alright, well this is probably game-winning anyway, so... Alright, cool. Have fun casting spells. The One Ring, okay, sure. I don't think it's actually going to help you. We'll just play the backup one just to be safe. Just in case they find, like, Solitude, I want to make sure that I'm not going to lose to that, so... And then next time they activate this One Ring, I can just play a Tidebinder and counter it. Okay. Yeah, so... Sure. Well, that's fantastic. We should be beating basically everything at this point. No, it's not. We're going to Tidebinder the One Ring so that they're not going to draw any more cards here, and that's going to be it. No thank you, opponent. We are not going to be doing that today. Hot take, you're tired of the One Ring. I think you and about half of the people playing Modern right now. That was a hell of a stack right there. They put Subtlety in the bottom, so they're not very confident that it's going to help them at this point. Oh, that's beautiful. Yep, and they can still only realistically cast one spell a turn, which we can just hard cast like Force here. Or Flare, if they go for like Solitude or something. Oops. I mean, they do, but the ring is also now going to be like killing them, so it's not great, but their life total is getting low enough where the bird encounters will actually hurt. Like they only have one more Galvanic Discharge left in their deck at this point, so they've already used one of their One Rings before this, so they're desperately digging for something. Okay. I guess they need like Solitude right now. That's like the thing that gets them out of this, that they think, or their fourth Galvanic Discharge. I mean, that is a lot of cards. They're discarding 3 cards right now. We want to draw a land or a blue card here. That probably will do it, I think. So the question is, which spell is more important right now? Snapcaster could block, so I can either cast Subtlety or I can cast the Sink into Stupor, but I reasonably can't cast both. So yeah, either I put this in and then I can, if they play like Snapcaster, then Subtlety deals with it. Then them having another One Ring is something I can't deal with. They'll probably have 8 mana next turn to double play a ring anyway. So I think the line here is just playing Sink into Stupor and then having Subtlety up. Subtlety also deals with them potentially having Flage or Solid. Well, no, I guess if they evoke Solitude, then I can deal with that. But I need to put their life total so it's within range here. And if they don't have like another One Ring, then they actually just die. So they'll take 3 damage off of this one. Yeah, so right now they're on their clock from their own One Ring. They are evoking Solitude here. All right, they finally found it. So Are they gonna have another One Ring? That's the question. They're at 2. Is it is this? Did they find it in time? So I guess Flage also keeps them alive if they. Oh yeah, if they bring this back. All right. I didn't see that they discarded one, so all right, that's gonna suck. So yeah, it puts them to 5, but they're still taking 3 from this every turn. So like if we can find a Tidebinder, no, that has haste. They can attack too, right? Because they use the arena for this. Fuck. Ah, we're so close. We really tried. Yeah, no, the One Ring is just doing its thing. So you're fucking taking 4 from this next turn. That is insane. Well, they probably have like a bajillion counter spells in hand now, so there's not reasonably anything I can do at this point. Well, like I have to have like a Tidebinder or a Trickster for that. Yeah, we're dead. All right, because yeah, like they're gonna kill us before we can kill them. That was so close. All right, just run this back. Ah, okay, that's fine. Nope. We are gonna keep this, but it's a little bit risky. A land would be great. I need Wrath of the Skies to not blow me out. It is a sorcery, okay. So we do have Force in case they find it. Well, that doesn't really help. Probably just means that a Lord is getting pitched to this Force of Negation. I assume they're... Okay, are they just going to hold up Counterspell, probably? Well, I mean, I'm not, like, casting... even if I, like, find a land, I'm not casting Lord here, so... You can just take the 3 damage and just play, like, a Frantic Inventory. That's okay. Sure. Like, if they tap out here, they're basically just dead, aren't they? Like, they have to have Solitude or they die. I need to protect my Vial from this Teferi. That's what has to happen right now. You're basically just hoping they don't have Solitude. If they have Solitude, they have it. Like, whatever. It's unfortunate, but we can't... Like, we don't have an alternative right now, so... Yeah. We'll just have to hope Svyelun is good enough to get us there. Like, if we had Flare of Denial right now instead of Force of Negation, like, it's so much better. We just counter the Solitude and then probably go on to victory. Force was just not the card we needed for this turn. Oh, they're gonna Wrath here. Yeah. If this happens and I lose my Vial, I lose the game, so this has to get countered. I guess top decking another Harbinger would be really good. Problem is this thing is likely to come back now, so... Alright. Going to... Alright, good luck at your Legacy Weekly. It depends on if they have a fetch land to get the other red for this. Be interesting to see if they burn Subtlety in this thing. They don't, so... We'll play Svyelun now before anything else bad happens, so now the ward is in effect. Oh, they don't have anything! Oh my god, fucking fantastic. Like, they weren't even dead this turn. Why would they give up? They have at least one more turn to, like, come back and do something. I don't know. Fuck. You know what? I'm not going to argue it. I'm just going to take it. Great. Is their hand just really that piss poor? They just look at it and just like, nope. Wow. Alright, cool. We're on the play. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, this hand looks fine. We'll keep it. It's not perfect, but it does the job. Might be using Otawara as a effect instead of a land this game. We'll see. No, they've mulliganed to 6. Okay, that's good. Mulligan to 5. Alright, that's even better. We're just hoping that we don't have to go up against, like, Scam. That's pretty much it. So if they, like, scam us, take both of our masters, like, we're just dead. Hedge maze. Okay, so probably Nadu, I'm guessing? Oh, it's Living End! Oh, fuck, we win. Like, we have the Flare of Denial. They're only on 5 cards. We're probably going to get there. That's my guess here. This looks very promising. Okay. We gotta play a master here, get our Flare online. And we can actually cast it for real mana, so that'll be nice. If we could find, like, Hexcatcher or more counter magic, that would be fantastic. Sure. Cycle that Street Wraith. Harbinger would just, like, absolutely just slam dunk win the game, because I don't even think they have a basic forest in their deck, so. Or if they do, there's probably, like, one. They may not have another land. Okay, they find Misty Rainforest. Would Flare be fine if they didn't have the non-token clause? It's hard to say. Probably the green one would be busted because of Kahalni Garden. I'm not sure about the other ones. Because they would just turn one, play like Garden, and then flare and get like another land. Yeah, that seems like that's very strong. They got the basic forest. They're afraid. Okay, good. The white one could definitely spawn a new deck with token. Yeah, I mean, I think Flare of Denial would be way better for us if we could use like Deeproot Pilgrimage with it, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay. So there's Shardless, so here we gotta force or flare this, I guess. I guess if we find Hexcatcher, we're in a very good position, right? I think I tick this up just in case I find Tidebinder, because then it plays around them having Subtlety. Sink into Stupor is fantastic. That is exactly what we were hoping to see here. Because against Living End, this card is basically just Counterspell. Like, I don't... Yeah, I think we've got this now. This should be the luck. This is also something that they... Yeah, look how powerful this card is right now. It just, like, won us the game. Because now, like, they can't Subtlety this thing back to my hand, so... They have to just try to play, like, another Shardless Agent here. Ardent Plea, sure. We win. Island is something Otawara can't do. Yeah. Alright, cool. It's been a while since we've seen Living End. I mean, it's still out there. Like, the deck's not dead by any means, so... Alright, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We didn't have Tidebinder in our main deck, so taking the Vial up for that is actually not relevant. It is relevant post-board, but not pre-board, so... We want Subtlety basically to fight Subtlety. We take out Dismember and Svyelun. Right? Yeah. Trickster is probably better than Svyelun, so we'll take a Trickster in here. Right? That's pretty much it. Harbinger of the Seas is still probably fine, because it can keep them from casting spells, so... And if we... Yeah, Dockhand can also tap the Forest in their upkeep, as well as Tide Shaper dealing with it, so... The Mana Denial plan is still pretty strong here. Yeah, just do it like this. We just don't really... We don't want Svyelun, because she's like a clunky 3-drop against this deck. This is a very interesting hand. I think that we're keeping this, and our plan is just try to force them and then drop Harbinger and hope that's good enough. If they grief me, they grief me. What are you going to do? I just need to get Harbinger in play before they find Basic Forest. Okay. Sure. Honestly, they probably need to take Harbinger. Or I guess they can take Force, because they can race this, right? So, yeah, they take the Force. But we have time to draw another Force, so... Alright, they don't know about Island here. That's not a very good draw here, so... Yeah, them being on the play means they're going to get to... Like, we don't have anything to do here, so, like... The best thing that we could draw is Hexcatcher, I think. Or, like, another Force. A Flare would not actually be good in this position. So we need Hexcatcher or Flare. That's definitely not going to do it. And they have the Misty Rainforest to get basic Forest right now, so yeah, we're kind of sunk. They also put Curator of Mysteries in the graveyard, which is important. If they had not put a flyer in the graveyard, there is definitely the argument of evoking Subtlety here, specifically for the purpose of Alright, well, they also have End. But, like, depending on what's in their graveyard, you could evoke Subtlety, so you have a 3/3 flyer to try to erase whatever they're doing. So it is possible sometimes to do that. They just have the Forest. Okay. Yeah, we can't, like, we're not, our hand is not capable of that, so. On the draw versus them having Grief, and we just kind of flooded out, like, yeah, that sucks, but it happens. I guess sinking the Stupor was also a potential, like, out to draw, too, because that would have bought us the turn we needed for Harbinger if they had not found the basic Forest, so. Alright, well, we're on the play this time. This hand is fine. We'll keep it. Just the consideration of or making sure we have 2 blue mana on turn 3 for Force. So if we draw Island, then, we're still okay. I was just thinking if there's any scenario in which, we draw another blue source where we would want this in play already, but I think that it's fine to play the Cavern on turn 1. Sure. I mean, Grief is going to take this Force here. See, the problem is Subtlety is really bad against the Grief. We only really want Subtlety when it's versus Subtlety. Because them griefing right now means they can just, like, do it again next turn, and it's not really helping our cause, so. I need to draw something now. That's not really it. So they don't know about that card, so I gotta do this, I guess. This is what I mean. Grief is a fucking stupid card. Like, even if, yeah, like, Flare of Denial really wouldn't have helped us there either. Like, we could have, like, pitched 3 cards to kill it, and that wouldn't have done anything, so. Thank you for the Prime sub. I love it. Yeah, appreciate it a lot. So, I guess, like, this turn we might have to play the Mutavault, but actually, if we draw a Force, then we probably just play the Island and pass. We'll play the Mutavault in the turn afterwards. But we have to draw something, like, right now. If we draw Harbinger, that would also be good. Like, oh, fuck. They have the Forest! They have the Forest every time! They've had it literally all 3 games. Look! This Harbinger would be so good! But the problem is they're going to have the Shardless Agent, and I don't have interaction for that. I guess I should still play the Harbinger just because if they're on the Ardent plea, I can still, like, beat that, so. Like, I can't beat them having Shardless here. I can only beat them having Ardent plea. So, and it doesn't really, I guess I should, the Mutavault's fine to play right now. We just, because it's going to be an island anyway, so we're just hoping that this is the case. If they try to Subtlety this, then we use Subtlety in their own Subtlety. We're just praying that they have Ardent plea. That's our plea. Our plea is that they're on plea and that this keeps them off of it. And then maybe we follow it up with something like Tide Shaper, and then we can just turn off this Forest. And if we turn off the basic Forest, then they are out of the game. A Dockhand would be slow, but also, like, could get us there. I guess they're wondering if they're supposed to Subtlety this now. They know we have this. Yeah, okay. They pitched Ardent plea. Okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely doing this. They put it on the bottom. All right, let's hope that plea was the only thing they had going. Because if they have Shardless, then we're fucked. The other interesting thing is, like, if they actually had another blue card, they could have like put Subtlety on top, cycled this, got the Subtlety back. Oh, this thing has, they have the Forest Cycler too. All right, are they going to get another basic forest? Do they have another basic forest? It's a good question. I don't know how. I guess we're going to find out, right? They find Breeding Pool, so probably only this one. So please don't have Shardless Agent. Oh, this is not good. Oh, no, they cycled. Okay, they cycled. That means we're still alive. So turning off basic forest wins us the game. We're not dead yet. And we also have time to draw another counter spell. Like, we have to play this, right? Like, what are they going to do? Subtlety it? Doesn't matter. Like, they have to have Shardless exactly this turn. Oh, fuck! That is so bad for us. Okay. They go to 6. Alright, it's not lost yet, but it's really bad. So the problem is now that if they Ardent Plea here, we're going to lose our Island Walkers, but we get Harbinger back, which means... But they're also going to have a bajillion creatures in play, so... I guess it means if we top deck a Lord, we would still win. Did they pitch their only Ardent Plea for this Subtlety? Is that what happens? They just didn't have another Cascader? Oh, that is so irresponsible! You cycled the Architects of Will in this turn. Like, how could you get rid of your only Cascade spell here? Why? That's awful! What were we going to draw? It's not going to tell us. I guess... So, the thing is with this is, like, if we did draw, like, another Lord of Atlantis, like, we have the Harbinger that comes back here, and we could still attack for 6 Island Walk, so that would be a way to go, but, like, that's so bad. Like, you have to throw away the Architects to the Subtlety, not the Ardent Plea. If that's your only Cascade spell, like, and that's your hope, is that you're hoping for, like, Dismember to get rid of Harbinger, no, that had to be incorrect. Whatever, we're 3-1. Oh, I'm sorry, 3-0. Yeah. 3-0 the dream. that was tough. Like that we probably shouldn't have won that game, but we have lots of tools against that deck, and they managed to like find a way through it and still lost the game somehow. So wow. All right, cool. Love it. Fantastic. Rocking it. We started a little bit later tonight, but it's okay. We're making up for lost time. All right, here we go. Round 4. What are we up against here? Honestly, like, this isn't the greatest hand in the world, but we have 4 spells we can cast off of this Mutavault, so this is the one time I'm inclined to keep a hand like this, because it almost doesn't matter what they do, we're still going to have something to do on turn 1. Okay, so we're up against, what, Esper here, I'm assuming? So we can get if we get the Vial on 3, the Harbinger will win the game for us. And the Hexcatcher will help us a lot with that, too. This could just be this could be a psychic. Yeah, okay. So this is rough. Yeah. We haven't gotten scammed yet, so that's a good sign. Well, that's also very good here. 5 cards. Are they willing to throw away all of their cards to keep this thing alive? I might need the Hexcatcher, to be honest, so... I'm just going to pass here. I'm going to Vial in the Dockhand and then maybe flash in the Hexcatcher depending upon what happens. So I have to be worried about Orcish Bowmasters. I don't want to play into that. I think I will I might double Dismember this thing at the end of turn. I'll take the 1 from this thing. I guess I could have Vialed in Dockhand and tried to block. That was an option. Let's see. How attached to this thing are you? You have to throw away 4 cards to save it. They are not very attached to it. Okay, fine. Okay, Fatal Push is fine. I expect that. Svyelun is good here. I think I'm just going to play... I think I just play Vial and pass. Try to get the... Like, because this one's going to have to get ticked up to 3. And the other ones we would like to keep on 2. Okay, sure. Hopefully they just get a land that helps Harbinger blow them out. Don't get the basic... Alright, they got the basic swamp. They know how this works. Okay. I'm gonna kill this right now. The only way this goes badly is if they follow it up with, like, exactly Sheoldred. But I need it off the board while Svyelun is an option. Sure, I'll take 1 from this. Delta means that they're probably gonna get another basic swamp, so Harbinger's not gonna hurt them that badly. No, they don't. Okay, they're stuck on 1 land here, so interesting. They put Otawara in the graveyard. Okay. What are we doing with all this? Murktide region. Oh, that's not good. It's a 4/4. Yeah, it's not great. Well, we're ticking these both up. I can dismember the Murktide, so I think I gotta do that. Now, the only thing is I don't want to play the creature this... I guess if I play Harbinger right now, they can still Fatal Push it off the board. Same thing with, like, Svyelun. I guess if they have another Fatal Push, they have another Fatal Push, but I can't... I don't know. I think I have to play Harbinger and hope they don't. The Svyelun is going to be a little bit more important towards trying to stabilize this game, and we're just hoping they don't have a push. Alright. So I need to, like, try to kill this thing before they can, I don't know, like, have a counter or something like that. This tells me maybe there's, like, Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, okay. So they ping me. Alright, that's not good, but... Yeah, Harbinger's not going to die at least. If they don't... Hopefully we don't get, like, Soul Spiked, or... I don't know if they're playing that with, like, this version of the deck. Alright, we tick this one up and not the other one. What do we want? We want like Lord of Atlantis, I think, or Flare of Denial, maybe. So we have to block this Orc army token with Svyelun. Okay, that's pretty good. Spell Snare. Oh, that sucks. Ah, I should have vialed that one in. I could always flash in the Hexcatcher. I totally forgot about that. I just hope they don't have another Bowmasters. So right now I have to, like, block. That's my way of doing this, so... If they have, like... Yeah, there's a lot of ways this is going to go badly, so... Alright. Yeah, I don't think they should be attacking, so... I was really hoping I could play this Lord and then attack with this Harbinger. But it's... Yeah, the Spell Snare is not... I don't know. I guess they could have had, like, a counterspell, but... I wasn't really thinking about that. I guess I thought if it was actual counterspell, I could still trade the Hexcatcher with it, so it didn't seem like that big a deal. I cannot attack with this thing, and playing this island doesn't actually do anything for me right now. But representing another Merfolk does, so I can't make any attacks at the moment. Subtlety just kills us, so we don't have anything to deal with that. Okay, well, this is not a great way to start off game 4. Or round 4, I guess. Alright, well, this is a deck where we want Harbinger, and I think we want Trickster, right? Yeah. And Force and Flares are not going to be good. And Hexcatcher is also pretty weak. Subtlety is going to be fine, I think. And oh yeah, Tishana's Tidebinder, I think we want that. And take out one vial. There we go, I think that does it. Cool. Play. This is kind of like the last hand, but I think we're still supposed to do it. I think that I'm okay with just not doing anything in turn 2 to save the 3 life, because I'll probably just play this tapped. Turn 3 is the turn where we actually care about, like, doing real things, so... Sure. Well, they played this tap, so actually I might attack with this thing now. I don't have anything better to do, so... I'd assume they would just play, like, fetch land pass, and then we would not send Mutavault in the face of, like, Fatal Push, but this is still okay. I mean, Frog's a frog, but we do have Lord of Atlantis to get Island Walk through this thing, so... Or if we find a land, we're just going to slam Harbinger of the Seas for sure. Alright, get in there with Island Walk. See what they do this turn. Part of me is inclined to take this Vial up to 3, play Harbinger, and then use the Mutavault as blue mana to play like a Lord of Atlantis. It depends upon kind of what they do with their turn. Like, they could have Spell Snare again, so... Ooh, okay. They're taking 3. That means they're intending to use all their mana here. Well, if they're taking 3, that probably means that I can leave this on too, right? I guess I could fake them out here. Like, if I tick it up and draw the land, like... The problem is, if I don't draw the land, then I am very dependent on, like, this has to be a thing, so... I think I'd rather just put the Lord in play. Alright, well, that's sort of alright. I don't think I care about the 1 extra damage right now. I'll just say I'll keep the Tishana's Tidebinder back for the moment. I can Trickster this thing next turn. Or, like, if they play a fetch, then I can just Tidebinder that. Okay, Otawara is not really something I'm worried about here. Like, they have to be careful because we are getting very close to, like, actually just killing them with real damage, so... They discarded Drown in the Lock. Okay, so they had a counterspell up the whole time. They discard Subtlety. Okay. Alright, so what are we doing here? Murktide Regent. Okay. It's a 7/7. So they're intending to attack for probably lethal? Can I just kill them? Like, what happens here? I play Tidebinder. Assume they kill 1 Lord here. I could reasonably kill them right now. Right, because this will be 4, this will be 3, this will be 3, and then I have another Lord to put into play, so if they have to do something or they die, they can reasonably dump 3 cards into this to make it 14 to come after me. I think this is a good spot to play the Tidebinder, and then... Am I ticking the Vial up or not? They could Fatal Push 1 thing. They were very close to dying then. I guess they could... They probably don't have a drown in the lock, right? So I'm assuming it's just push. Yeah, because they could discard enough cards to give this flying, so... Pay 3 life. They're not going to have 3 life for this. Oh, the Murktide's going to get bigger, right? Okay. Alright. Well, now the Lord of Atlantis is free, right? So I put the Lord in play. This is 4... Yeah, alright, so we don't take up Vial. We just have them. Alright. You got there. Okay, just barely. No, this is a really intense match. All right, being on the draw here, I don't think anything really changes. Still in it. And this is a fine hand. We have creatures, we have... Yeah, this is good. We'll keep it. We might not be casting this sink here, but we'll see. Depends. If we flood out an island, it gives us something to do with it, so... Honestly, there's a there's a reasonable chance that we attack with Mutavault, right? No, because they're probably just going to play the frog, I assume. Is there anything else in turn 2 that they would tap out for so that Mutavault could get in safely? I don't think so. So then them tapping out for frog means if we draw the land, or if we could just play the sink and just play like master. Okay, so playing the Cavern of Souls is probably correct here. The thing is, we probably want to dismember it and get to a point... Okay, you're going to spell pierce my fucking Aether Vial? Holy shit! Alright, opponent, great. That was... I don't feel like that was a very good card to keep in against us. Like, the Vial is not the end-all be-all of this match. I might not even play a creature this turn. I think I'm just gonna play Sink into Stupor tapped and just go for like, yeah, I can just play like Svyelun or something next turn. Actually, I might not even do that. I might want to. I could just exhaust their removal first. That seems like a good plan. Sure. Let's just throw out a sacrificial Lord of Atlantis. That's fine. I assume that it can eat like a push or something. Just got to get creatures out of the way so Svyelun can do her thing. Or I'm sorry, removal out of the way. I also have to be aware they could have something like, I think, didn't Toxic Deluge get reprinted into this format now? I think that's it. Yeah, Modern Horizons 3. So that is a card I think that we could be reasonably concerned about now. So we don't want to overcommit into that. Okay, Frog, sure. They could have Spell Pierce again. I guess so. If I'm going to dismember it, I should do it now, right? The thing is, if they dump a ton of cards into this and then attack me, I'm just going to Harbinger it back to their hand, so... And I think I'm just going to play the Tide Shaper. I don't want to overcommit yet again, because they might have a sweeper here, so... But if so, I only want to lose 2 creatures and not 3. How did I know that? First of all, you fucked up, because you should only be paying 2 life for this. Paying the 3rd life was totally not a reasonable thing to do. Alright. This is not bad. I guess this is a good spot. I can play Svyelun here. If they kill Svyelun, then I'll just play, like, Master Attack with Mutavault. That seems okay. They might have Drown in the lock, but that'll take most of their turn to do that if they want. They might actually consider playing, like, Murktide Regent this turn, which is actually kind of fine if they do. Okay, so that's okay. Okay, Drown in the lock. Alright. There could still be Fatal Push here. That's definitely possible. This makes this a little bit... I guess we'll do this. I think it's a good turn to take a risk. They don't have it. If they had it, they for sure would have cracked Delta and got the swamp for push. I think they're getting another Surveil land. Just another grave. So they probably don't have another Surveil land, is what I'm getting at here, or what I'm taking from this. And if they just play like Murktide Regent, then they're like in a lot of trouble. Sure. I guess they could have Drown in the lock for the Master of the Pearl Trident. That is reasonable to assume. No, they don't. Okay, so unless they drew another land, we're looking pretty good here. They probably didn't have that last turn because they probably would have done that last turn if they did. That's really good too. So I can attack with the Mutavault for 3. I can just Trickster this in their turn, and then that's probably a victory for us. If they Fatal Push the Master of the Pearl Trident, then I can just still Trickster it and get the damage across anyway. I'm just banking on them not having drawn. They put both cards in the bottom with Preordained, so the chances that they drew the push are pretty low. And now Toxic Deluge does not save them from Mutavault killing them. If they Deluge for 2, like, yeah, like, they can get rid of the Master, but we'll still have Mutavault, so... What the fuck are you doing, opponent? Like, this is one of the plays of all time. You're not attacking me, like... Yeah, no. Alright. And if they play Subtlety, we just Subtlety back, so that's it. The game's over. Alright, we win the match. Absolutely just bodied them! We're 4-0! How? How is this... is this real life, like... I don't know. This deck has just been amazing, like, in this format. I don't get it. We should not be running this well. Like, look, it's good, but, like, this is still kind of ridiculous. I don't know how this is happening. You brought the luck for you coming back? Yeah, it must be. Contra wasn't here for the 5-0, but you came for sure, and hopefully we're going to deliver it. See, and we kind of read the opponent's hand. We took like one turn to try to get to suss out whether they had a push, and they didn't seem to have it. So then we were able to kind of play around it. Like, we figured that, all right, if they only have one mana up, they probably don't have interaction, so yeah. The fact that they, like, Toxic Deluge that turn is just so bad, right? Like, you know the Mutavault's there. Like, if I have a Lord, you're dead. Like, the Trickster, you're screwed, right? Yeah, you know, Subtlety ruins him too, so there's so many ways that goes wrong. Alright, we're on the play. This is a good sign. We're up against Tentacle Fan. Oh, God. A Gigantha the Wellspring. That probably means this is, like... This could be Ruby Storm, or what? Could this be the energy deck? I don't remember. I think we're keeping this either way. I'm pretty sure that Gigantha I want to say that it means it's Ruby Storm, right? So we want to play Tideshaper so that Hexcatcher does more work. We need to just do something in turn 1. We'll see. Bloodstained Mire. Okay, what are we doing here? Mountain. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Fuck, I'm dismembering the shit out of it. Force of Negation is a very good draw for this turn. Okay. I think they know we're on Merfolk at this point, but we may as well just play the Cavern here. So get rid of this nonsense. Attack. And then hope... Well, Harbinger of the Seas is actually probably not going to be very good against them, because they do have basic mountain here, so... And I am assuming that they're not going to fetch for a non-basic, yeah. So, oh, fuck, this is the energy deck. Oh, fuck me. Alright. There's, like, nothing bad that they can get with this thing. They got another channeler, okay. Boros energy is very, very hard. Alright, I don't know if we're going to be able to seal the deal against this one. I mean, Master is a good one. It does help, but I don't know how good it's going to be right now. Probably just playing Harbinger of the Seas and then maybe Master plus Hexcatcher next turn or something like that. This turns off them having Flage, right? If they, like, get Sacred Foundry. So, okay, Swift Spear, yeah. All right, I think we actually want to force this to, right? I don't think that there's any way we're realistically winning this game if this thing goes away, so we have to force that. Okay, well, they gave us Island Walk, which is really nice of them. What the fuck are they doing? Why? Oh, they have fucking mutagenic growth. Is this like prowess? Is that what we're up against here? No, that's actually worse. Okay. Well, sure. Fine. Yeah, alright. This is still, like... Yeah, I don't know. It's... We do what we can here. Maybe we can race this if they just, like, don't have anything else for some reason. I might actually be, because they did play the Swift Spear, so that might mean that we're up against prowess and not, like... I don't know. I'm assuming that's the case. Alright, they can activate this, right? Oh, they have Lava Dart? Fuck, okay. They're gonna go after my master and sacrifice it. Yeah, we're just getting killed here. Like, we're dead. They're just gonna do it again, and then attack me for way too much damage. Yeah. Like, this is too much. Yeah, Bobble does it. Alright, you got it. Okay, so... Wow, alright. This is a very, very tough one to end this league on. Yeah, we are not favored against this deck at all. I should have some notes for this. Yeah, so the problem is Harbinger of the Seas is actually not very good against this deck. Yeah. They basically only play like red mana, so yeah, like basic mountains and fetch lands, and most of the time the fetch lands like are already going to have gotten basic mountains long before Harbinger does anything relevant. So we want Harbingers, we want Tricksters, and we want the Dismember, and I think we're just taking out Hexcatcher, right? That's pretty much it. Like, we don't really have a whole lot else here. Alright, let's try. Give it our best shot. Our hand was probably very good if we were up against Ruby, but it was really kind of terrible otherwise. Okay. I mean, I think we just kind of have to do this and just run the cards out, so... Tentacle Fan betrayed us. He's betraying all the tentacle creatures on this side of the board. How could you be so cruel to your own kind? Sure. Like, if they were to block this thing, I would take that trade all day. So, what I'll do is in their upkeep here, I'll just Trickster it. Make it a little bit difficult to get Surveil triggers this turn. Sure. Great. Probably just playing Svyelun here, right? Again, they're not blocking, so... Harbinger is definitely an option here, but I honestly, I feel like the only way we're realistically winning this game is if Svyelun connects enough times to draw us out of this, so... Otherwise, like, we're probably not going to get there. Breach went into the graveyard. That's not usually a good sign. So, yeah, these things are both attacking now, yeah. Like, I can Harbinger one of them this turn, and then maybe Trickster as well. Because I'm just trying to look to curve out here, so I'm hoping that maybe Svyelun can draw us. It can ideally draw us a land, so that we can Trickster plus Harbinger in their turn. Yeah. So there it is possible they could have like mutagenic growth. But if they do, it will the growth is basically just gonna trade with a trickster, right? Or actually, no, I guess if I Harbinger this now, then I could attack with this thing. They could trade a mutagenic growth for a trickster in this thing. That's okay if they do that. But I should use the Harbinger now just in case that's a thing, and then I can trickster them on their turn. Now I can safely attack with 2 creatures here. Cavern of Souls is not really what I wanted to see at the moment. Alright, and I just have to let the Channeler attack me and then Trickster it and try to block it with both Harbinger and Trickster. That's the line. Oh my god. Jesus fucking Christ, they have all the creatures in the universe. Alright, well, at least we're gonna eat this thing. I don't know how we're, like, getting through any of this, though. Like, I don't think that's reasonably helping us at all. I can attack with Svyelun, but, like, we are taking a bajillion damage. I might actually have to play this other Svyelun here. I don't know. I guess it depends on what we draw, right? Like, we don't... How do we not die to this? We need, like, another Harbinger or a Trickster. I need another card. Like, I can't win with just what we have here. Okay. Alright, so they have 3 cards left. We're effectively at 5 life, so we probably have to block both of these Swift Spears. If we do that, like, are we winning? Like, I think I have to play Lord of Atlantis and try to force something this turn. I don't think I have an alternative. I think that's just where we're at. I'll tap one of the other non-basic lands just in case of, like, they somehow, like, Blood Moon me. Because these both have to attack, so that's not an... Yeah, like, that has to happen regardless. Yeah, okay. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. So we take a damage from this. Oh, fuck. It's a free prowess trigger, so, yeah. Well, it's not the card that we're looking to force right now, so... Alright, what do we got? Lava Dart is, in fact, the card we're looking to force. Let's see, what do we... A Raptor. They have a Lava Dart in the graveyard, so we're already in a lot of shit as it is. But I have to force this or I will actually just die. Because they already have this one to flash back. I can't let them get, like, another trigger on top of this. This is close. I think Tideshaper might be enough to win here. It's really close. They're going all in, so... How do I do this here? I do have to block everything. The Lava Dart is going to put me to 8. This is going to... So, like, I do have to do this, right? They can't ping my creatures. This thing's going to go up to 4/5. I guess the only thing is, like, I'm dead if they have mutagenic growth, right? I can't beat mutagenic, I think. If I block like this, this will go to 4/5. It can kill off one creature, but not both. I don't think there's any other free spell they can possibly have in their hand. I guess they could have Gut Shot, but if they have Gut Shot, I'm also dead. Because they're just going to Lava Dart me, Gut Shot me. I'll be at 7. I guess I technically wouldn't be dead to that. So let me think. If I keep this back... Like, what if I just keep all of these back, right? If I just throw the minimum amount to block here... The Raptor blocks Svyelun and I come across for 7. That seems like the best way to try to win this game. Okay. Or actually, the Raptor could block the Lord here, but I guess it's not going to matter here. Oh yeah, because, yeah, the Amulet deals me 1 damage because of the flashback, right? So I'm at 7 from the Lava Dart, so I go to 1 theoretically, unless they have... If they have another, like, spell that they can... If they can find another Lava Dart, I guess. Okay. Fuck, that was close! Alright, had to do that. They had a chance. If they could flip another Lava Dart, they could kill me with the Unstable Amulet, so... Okay. We're going for the 5-0 against a really, really hard match. Oh. Alright. We're on the draw. I don't think that there's any changes I want to make in the draw here. Oh, this is so hard. Like, Island Walk is basically not going to be a thing against them, so... Like, I have Tide Shaper, but it's very vulnerable. The Hexcatcher is not great, but it's... I'm not sure whether a Spreading Seas or a Hexcatcher is going to be stronger. Probably the one Hexcatcher is. Yeah, the Seas on the draw is, like, not perfect. It's not ideal. Like, if we were going to play Seas, like, on the play is really where you want it, but... I think I'm just running this back and praying. Alright. Alright, come on, guys. We've come this far. It is possible. We could do this. I don't know that this is the hand that's going to do it. They've mulliganed to 6. Oh, fuck, this is... This... I don't know, like... The problem is, like, if we don't really interact with them at all, like, this feels like this is too slow. They're going to get turn 1 and turn 2 to do basically whatever they want with impunity. I don't think I can... I don't know. It's... I mean, yeah, it's... Alright, I mean... We might Trickster them and then flare it and try to get Svyelun down and hope that's enough. It is so rough, though. Like, and we just draw, like, a land or two, like, our hand, we're just dead. So, alright, you know what? Fine. Just for you, Fruit Kid. We're going to keep it. This feels very risky to me, though. Svyelun is usually the way that we win these games. Okay, they don't have a turn 1 creature. That is a great sign for us. Okay, we drew a creature. Okay, we're in this. We are in it, boys. Okay. And maybe we're holding back Force of Negation for, like, Underworld Breach or something. We have to be worried about them playing, like, Slick Shot Show Off or something. That's pretty much it. This is actually probably a card worth forcing, right? Like, fuck this. Like, I don't want counter spells here. Like, this, it's worth damage. It gives them more cards to play. They're on a mulligan, so, like, we're just fucking forcing this, baby. We'll play Lord of Atlantis, and then, like, if they play a creature, we can just Trickster it. Or Tide Shaper is also fine. Okay. How do we do this? I could just cast the Tide Shaper in one of their lands here. That seems reasonable. They can, maybe they draw like a creature and they play one creature and then we just play like Lord or something. Alright, Foothills, sure. Okay, Channeler, fine. Raptor, also, well, not great, but... Oh, fuck. Alright. They have a Lava Dart in the graveyard. Oof. Mishra's Bauble. Alright. Probably just play Svyelun this turn. Because we could potentially draw a land and play like 2 Lords next turn. I think Svyelun is the way to go. It also makes it a lot harder for them to kill off our creatures. So obviously we're not going to attack here because they have a first strike blocker, so... we could get... It depends, like, if they've drawn terribly, like, maybe. Alright, Slick Shot is dangerous as hell. That's not a good sign. Mutagenic growth! Oh god, this is gonna hurt so bad. No, no! Another Lava Dart! No, fuck! No, we're gonna take so much damage this turn. They can flash both of these back, and we're taking like 4 damage just from Lava Darts. Oh my god! Another mutagenic growth! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh no! Just fucking rip a Rooney. Well, they're going after my face here. They're just trying to kill me with Slick Shot at this point. How is this thing not flipped yet? Or how has it not gotten flying yet? What the hell? There's another Lava Dart in the graveyard, but they don't have another mountain to sacrifice for it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. They have 1 more mana. Galvanic Discharge. They're going to just cast it on Svyelun here. Is that it? I think we're dead, right? I think, yeah, Slick Shot just killed us! They just fucking ripped Slick Shot and cast like 17 spells this turn. Oh my god. That is insane. They literally like 20'd us in 1 turn. Like, there's nothing. We can block these things. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you know what? They really earned that. Like, I can't even be mad, right? Like, they earned it clearly. There is no amount of playing good that was gonna beat that turn, so I can't even be upset. Alright, whatever. It's okay. That was still a very strong 4-1. Like, it took, like, the literal might of Zeus to, like, get there, so... For that, so, yeah, that divine intervention. Right, yeah, if I don't think holding the Trickster was a reasonable thing to do with them, but, like, that... If they had, like, even 1 less spell that turn, like, we were still probably going to win, based on how that played out. Like, if they flip 1 less Lava Dart, like, that's probably a victory for us, but, like, no, that was insane. That was absolutely just absurd, so... Okay, sure, fine. We did our best, but... on the plus side, this deck looked very strong once again, so this is like our third 4-1 with this list, so... I mean... Yeah. and like all the cards seem to be doing the things we need them to do. I don't think we boarded in the spreading seas, but we weren't really up against the deck where we needed this. So I don't know. I think it's important to have this card just in case the Tide Shaper has to come out, but otherwise, like, I think all the cards right here, this is like exactly how I want to have the deck. I feel really good about this. Like, Sink into Stupor was obviously really good. You know, the Dismembers were really good. There was like one or two times when, like, you know, having Force versus Flare kind of mattered, but I think 3/3 split is probably the best we're gonna get at. Like, I want Force of Will in this format really badly, but this is what we have to work with, so we do what we can. But I mean, otherwise, like, yeah, this is pretty much it. So yeah, we played the best we could. We had some really good games here. And honestly, like that I can't even be upset about that last match. That was just absurd. Like, I'm kind of glad I was there to witness it, because it's like an out of body experience at that point. So what are you gonna do? Just, I don't know. It's fine. All right. So all right, we'll go and check out some more magical cards here in a second. But everybody, if you're watching my replay, and you absolutely should be, because you know, you want to support this channel, right? This would be really helpful to me, and I think, you know, I think that you are all willing to do this because you love me, right? Please. You can find the link to the YouTube channel and all my social media on the link tree, which is in the chat here. Did I miss Tidebinder at all? Not really. I think the 2 in the sideboard were good enough for me. I prefer having everything else in the main deck the way it is, so I think Nikachu puts, yeah, he has like maybe 2 Tricksters in the main deck and an extra Tidebinder in the sideboard. I just have an extra Dockhand and Harbinger in the main deck because they work with the mana denial plan a little bit better. So it also facilitates an aggro curve a little bit better to have another 1-drop. So I kind of like that, but that's honestly personal preference. I don't think it makes a huge difference either way. You can play whatever you like, but yeah, do me a favor, click the thumbs up in the replay. It'll be out tomorrow. So I usually have it come out in the morning around like 8 or 9 o'clock, sometime in that time. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I really love it and appreciate it when you're here with me. It makes me feel like, you know, it's worth doing all this. So yeah, this is another really good league. Like, we're just cleaning up. There's like a third 4-1 with this deck. So very, very winning with Merfolk right now. The shell feels really strong. I mean, there should be a lot more NATO here, but the people are just not playing it online as much, I think. Just not because the deck is not strong, but just because of the limitations of MTGO. So the deck is like absurdly broken. It's for sure 100% going to get a ban. It's just a matter of when. If I was Wizards of the Coast, I would do it yesterday, but, you know, they should, like, we had that discussion at the beginning. They should ban NATO and ban Grief and Legacy, and probably ban Grief and Modern. Maybe the One Ring too, to be honest. Like, I think those cards have overstayed their welcome. But yeah, and like I said, I think Vexing Bauble is probably going to end up leaving Vintage, though. That one's not quite as pressing, but it's still, like, anybody who plays Vintage knows that that card is, like, also just absurd there and has a huge effect in that format, and it, like, pushes out the Bazaar deck almost completely. So it is very format warping and does basically the same thing Chalice does. And there's a reason Chalice is restricted, and so I think that it's inevitable that Bauble will be too. So, all right. Let's see. What are we gonna go and watch here? Somebody is playing Modern Grixis Wizards, huh? That seems interesting. Let's go and do that. All right. So I'm gonna send you off to this person. What am I looking for here? Okay, yeah. The Big Friendly Gamer, okay. Yeah. We'll go and say hi. So, thank you once again, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'll see you again next week. Merfolk, still number 1. We're the best around. No one's ever going to take us down. So, all right, everybody. See ya.